we get through the roundabout, Akhil, what I would like you to do is find a safe place to stop on the left after the roundabout. And then drive on when you're ready. And then at the roundabout, turn right. And take the next road on the right. the end of the road, turn left. And at the end of the road, turn right. So once we join this road, Akhil, we're going to go to Northampton. Okay, so we're taking the third exit on the roundabout. And then at the roundabout, we're going to turn right. We're going to follow the road signs to Hinkley. in half a mile, Akhil, we're going to take the next exit, okay? Taking the slip road, taking the next exit, go towards Milton Keynes Central. Roundabout, we're going to turn left. Take the next road on the left. The marking was off. Yeah, it was. You did well though. It's like it's been resurfaced and part of the road markings were gone, weren't they? Take the next road on the right. Take the next road on the left. turn left at the end of the road. And at the roundabout, turn right. At the roundabout, turn left. roundabout, turn right. And then turn left here. Then we'll turn left at the end of the road, and then we'll just pull up along here on the left. Good. How do you think you've done?
I think I made 2 mistakes or so.
Go for it.
2 major mistakes.
Go.
One is the gear. When I'm about to pull out of the uphill area, I was on 2nd gear. I realized I can pull out on 2nd gear, but I just got scared because I could feel it's about to stall. So I put it in 1st gear, making that section not so comfortable.
Mm-hmm. But to be honest with you, you didn't pick a serious fault up for that, Akhil.
Okay.
But what do you think you could have done better? How could you have dealt with that junction a little bit better?
Slow down more.
Yeah, slow down more. And what else do you think you could do? Think about when you're turning left. What about your position? Where's the best?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The only issue you had there, and it's quite common actually on that junction, is you looked to the right too early. Does that make sense? So you did pick up a driver fault there. It wasn't for the gears, it was more just because of your road position. Yeah, but the issue started because you was not focusing on the give way line and getting nice and tight left and getting in a good position and then getting up to the give way line, then looking right to see if there's a gap. Then you'd have got down into gear 1, then you'd have been gone. Does that make sense? It's a total closed junction. Yeah, you realise that when you got to it, but it was a bit late with your sort of how you was thinking. Yeah, so that was that. Anything else? What was the other serious you thought?
There were times where I went a mile above the speed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then there was.
But you contained it quickly, didn't you? Yeah.
I think. Where else? Speed. There was a speed bump over somewhere.
That's fine. That's fine. I know you just were a little bit worried about that.
Yeah.
You approached it nice. It's just it's a little bit of a defect when you go down it. You didn't do anything wrong there. Anything else?
Don't know if I made any mistake in meet and greet. I did. I know I slowed down somebody. I think I remember slowing down somebody.
Yeah, but you did. That wasn't a problem. Is that when the lady in the silver car was there? That wasn't your problem.
Okay.
Because when you committed, she wasn't there. Does that make sense?
Okay.
But what I will say to you about that is, if that happens, don't worry about rushing it.
Okay.
Yeah? Don't rush it just because, oh shit, she's come around the corner. She wasn't there when you committed. Yeah, you're in her space now, but there was nowhere else for you to go, and she realised that, so she had to wait for you. But in that instance, Akhil, try not to rush it from that point on. Yeah, any meeting situations, just take your time, because she's tightened the space up for you as well, isn't she? So just take your time. What do we say? Less space, less speed. Yeah. So if the space is tightened up, Just reduce speed. Don't rush into that space.
Mhm.
That was the same with the taxi driver when he let you through. You rushed through there a little bit.
Mhm.
Didn't give you a driver fault, but a better way of dealing with it is great. Taxi drivers dealing with it, but you could speed up a little bit. But when you get a bit closer to him, you've got to brake a little bit because the space is tight.
Mhm.
Less space, less speed.
Mm.
Yeah, but not a fault, but just suggestions on how better to deal with those meeting situations. Anything else?
I don't think I did anything bad in the
No,
roundabouts.
you passed.
Oh,
You got 6 driver faults, but you passed.
okay.
Yeah. So I'll talk you through them, and then I'm going to give you some other tips of what to do better as well. Yeah. So initially we started at that roundabout just there. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've gone up the hill, and your first thing I needed you to do is pull up on the left.
Yeah.
Now you could have dealt with that a little bit
I
better.
could have gone to
just
further.
a little bit further back, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because you got a bit close to the junction.
Yeah,
when the car come flying out.
You know why? Because there was a guy behind me
There
too.
there was. But best way to handle him or her, sorry. The best thing to do is get that signal on nice and early.
Okay.
Then watch what they're doing. Do you see what I mean?
Okay.
Because the way you did it, you knew where you was going. She didn't know what you was doing.
Yes.
Your signal went on late, and she thought you was turning left.
I thought I made a mistake. Because I was like, I should have just waited and gone to the next part.
What you needed to do as soon as you come out that roundabout, your safe place to stop there was just along the road, just before the drop curb, before the junction. You needed to get the signal on nice and early and keep an eye on her. So signal, come off the gas, little bit of brake. Does she understand? Is she going round? Great. I'm going to pull up where I was going to pull up. Does that make sense? So, but the thing is, you had in your plan where you wanted to stop, but she was getting closer to you, but you didn't tell her why you were slowing down. Does that make sense? And that's why you picked up one driver fault there. But that's the better way of making sure that, you know she's behind you. Tell her what you're intending to do, then work out as she understood what you're doing. So that's another look in the mirror. Oh yeah, she's going round me. Great, I can now pull up safely. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's how you could have dealt with that meeting situation. That's pull up on the left a little bit better. Yeah, so that's your position, normal stop. Yeah, position, normal stop is basically you stop near the junction. Yeah, it wasn't too close. It was a serious fault, but you did get very close to it, and it would be tricky for a car to come out. And that's why that guy in the black Mercedes was accelerated out quick. Yeah, probably not the only reason. Anyway, so then you've gone down there, like you said, a bit of speed going down that 20 road, but you contained it quite quickly. You fixed it straight away. Yeah, you've turned right at the roundabout. You've gone down that road perfectly. You've realised it's the 30 road, which is great. You spotted the sign because they're quite high up on those ones, aren't they? Yeah. So that was really good. You've turned right, no problem. Yeah, and then like you said, you come into a meeting situation where you think you would have failed, but you didn't, because when you committed, she wasn't there. Yeah, what else can you do? You're not a magician. You can't see around the corner. Yeah, but what you did, the correct thing you did is you didn't approach it too quickly, and then you committed, and then she appeared, and then she needed to wait. She had no option. Otherwise, one of you is going to have to reverse. She worked that out, which was good of her driving. But like I said, don't rush for her. Yeah, she's figured it out. She needs to wait. You just take your time going round. Yeah, and then at the next junction at the bottom of the road, you was out of position a little bit because you're starting to look right again, but you wasn't totally out of position, but you're slightly out. So again, just try and concentrate on getting into that space before looking right. Realistically, any closed junction, look at the giveaway line, want to look left first, then I'm going to look right, because that'll always get you in a very good position. Then you've gone down that road absolutely fine, and then you've gone over the roundabout, you've turned right at the end of the road. All that's good. You've noticed the mini roundabout nice and early, so you slowed it down a little bit. That was fantastic. You turned left at the traffic lights. You moved into the right lane nice and early, planned for that. Yeah, you found a nice gap. You got on with it, which was really nice. You've turned right at that roundabout, and then you've turned right at the next roundabout. You dealt with the Granby roundabout really well, the spiral going towards Hinckley. That was perfect. Yeah, really good round there. Yeah, you built your speed up lovely. You noticed the motorbike was sort of still in your lane, and then he shifted over, and that's when you joined. And that was really good. Yeah, you got up to speed nicely, used the cruise control. Everything was good. We've exited the slip road. All I would say when you exit the slip road, Akhil, one little tip for you. Just before we come off, have another look in your right mirror. You looked in your centre mirror, but just have a look in your right mirror in case you've got someone coming around the outside. Yeah. It isn't a fault, it's just a better way of driving. Yeah, because trust me, people do it last second. After that, what happened? We turned left at the roundabout. All that was good. You built the speed up nicely. You went into Loughton nicely. You noticed the giveaway line, which wasn't very clear because it's been resurfaced there. You looked right. Everything was good. She was too close to you behind, but there's nothing you could do about that. Yeah, you dealt with Loughton lovely. Now, all I'm going to say is I've got a little note here. Pedestrian crossings, okay? What I want you to do is, I know you can see when you come to a pedestrian crossing on your peripheral vision no one's there, but what I would like to see is a bit more scan.
Okay.
Yeah, just get those eyes, go scan, yeah? Every time you've got a pedestrian crossing, look left, look right, make sure there's nothing that's going to surprise you. Faster moving things like a bike or a scooter. Make sense? So even though you think you can see everything, as you're approaching, give it a scan, yeah? Then that's better practice. Yeah, nothing will catch you out. Yeah, and then from there, where do we go? You turned right. You dealt with that difficult left turn quite well. Then you got a clearance fault. You know where the learner was parked up on the left with his brake lights on?
Yeah.
You got very close to the red car that was on the left.
Oh, okay.
So I think your eyes were on the learner car.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So keep your eyes scanning, yeah? Because you're thinking, is he going to move away? He's got his brake lights on. That's what you're thinking. That's where your eyes were, and that's where you drove. Does that make sense? That's when you got close to the red car. So that's a clearance. Then, like I said to you, in the meeting situation, didn't give you any fault or anything. The taxi driver did a lovely job and he waited for you. But just don't rush that last part because that gap tightened up. I wouldn't have even gone into third gear at that point. But I know what you're doing. You're trying to think, oh, thanks for waiting. I'm going to try and get rid of this quickly. Try not to have that mindset. Yeah. And then we've got to, you've filtered to the right, you've taken the bend to the right, and at the end of the road you should have just got yourself in that real corner in gear 1 instead of going into gear 2, out of position, and that's where your turn in left driver fault is. Yeah, because you come in a little bit quick. You were starting to look right too early. That's why you was in second gear. Then you didn't feel like the car was going to do it, so you put it into gear 1. So I didn't give you a fault for that because you controlled everything. But your fault is because you didn't get in position very well. Yeah, makes sense. Then you've done fantastic. You've turned right at that roundabout. Just a bit of an awareness thing there. The taxi driver come flying up into that junction. You had no one on your right. You could have moved over and let him on. That's what he was telling you. Does that make sense? Yeah, so that's an awareness fault. Yeah, so just keep an eye on those sort of things. Did you notice the taxi driver come to the junction really quickly?
Yeah.
That's when you want to be looking in your mirrors and see if it's safe to move over and let him join. Does that make sense? Yeah, because you built your speed up lovely. Then you turn left at the roundabout. Yeah, all that was good. You went straight on, done those double roundabouts where all the red stuff is really well. Yeah, the signal was perfect. You went straight on. Now that next roundabout, if he was on a driving test, I'd probably not take that guy on. It was fine. You was cleared him okay, but he was coming quick.
Yeah.
He was coming quick, Akhil.
I took a risk,
You
right?
took a little bit of a risk. Even if he was on your test, you're just getting away with that one. But it's not worth taking that car on. Yeah, judge his speed and think, you know what, I'll safer away. Yeah. Listen, you didn't make him change speed because you got on with it, and it was, you just cleared it basically. And then you've dealt with the speed bumps well. There was one scenario between one speed and the other where you really put the foot down quite hard up to the speed bump. Does that make sense? Just when you're in town, just lightly accelerate. Yeah, but build your speed up, but don't thrash it. Yeah. And there was also another time just around that area. I can't remember if it was up that road or when you went left, but you basically stayed in gear 1 for 20 miles an hour. Again, when you're in town, just gently go through the gears. You see what I mean? You don't go up to gear 1. And then you've gone through the priority bit fine. Yeah, you notice there's nothing coming towards you. There's no one at the crossing. You turn right at the roundabout. You went through that. You notice the 30 sign, and this is where we end up. Yeah, and that's it. Now the other thing is, what else? That was a taxi for the plan, pedestrian crossing, and then also what I'd like you to do is when you're at traffic lights, have a little scan in your wing mirrors before you move away. Yeah, just in case there's a cyclist or motorcyclists going there. Yeah, but if you was on your driving test, that was the real test route, which is quite a tricky one to be fair. Yeah, I was quite impressed the way you dealt with the Granby roundabout because me and you have never been that way before. Yeah, you've dealt with it well. You read the sign well and you did it really well. Yeah, not an easy driving test, but that was the one that Chris had the other day. Yeah, so if you just sharpen up a little bit, that's a smash in the driving test. Yeah, that's good enough to pass anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 driver faults. Yeah, to me, I'm happy. Yeah, some really good driving. Just take on board the things I've said, and we can get this down to 2 or 3. And then when you go for your test, we just get it done. Yeah, you want to go there knowing you got it, everything in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy with all that?
Mm-hmm.
I'll take a picture of it. I'm happy with that. Overall, some lovely driving. You know, at the end of the day, Akhil, you don't need to be perfect for the driving test. You just have to be pretty safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and be observant of the road signs and road markings.
Yeah.
And do everything from a safety point of view. Yeah. Does that you understand about the clearance? So your eyes are on the learner car, which is fine. But remember, just keep the eyes moving. Look at him again. No, never ever focus on one thing. Yeah, because obviously they will just steer to that thing. Yeah. Okay.